It's June 10th. I'm bringing out these 2 by 12 by 8s treated. You can tell they're brown. In other words, they're treated to be exposed. And I'm going to use those to box in the windows. I killed the engine and I got in this protected area. I don't know if you can hear the wind on the other side of the island or not, but I couldn't film up. This is the last load of 2 by 12s by 8s that are going to be for framing. I brought 12 of them out total now, but it was really rough crossing. The weather's changed completely. The black flies were horrible yesterday, and now the temperature's back in the 40s with a wind, so maybe that'll be better. But last load of big lumber. So now I can start working on the framing of the boxing in the frames for the windows. The black flies are going to be insane today. I'm back. It's June 10th. I'm taking these and bringing them over from the mainland. I got to go back and get 6 more of them, and then get everything inside before it rains again. I went back. I got 5 more of the 2 by 12 by 8 treated boards. These are what I'm going to box the windows in with. So anything that rots, the windows are usually one of the areas that get rotted, and the corners. So by doing it with treated lumber, that's good lumber, it'll be a better job, and it should last longer. I lucked out. I got everything out before the rain. It's supposed to rain for 4 days. So my mission today was to open up, bring out supplies, and get these things inside where they're bone dry, where I can work, hopefully away from the black flies, which are just starting to come out, and they're everywhere. It's a little cold right now for them, but 10 more degrees and they'll be all over the place. I'm back again. It stopped raining. It's the second day. I think it's June 10th. It's still in the 40s in the morning. At least the sun's out. This morning, right before I got here, this little horseshoe hare was eaten by something right there. I don't know what, because I don't have my cameras on. Got the last load of wood over, so that's 12 by 2 by 8 foot pieces of treated lumber to box in the window frames. I got to take this back with me tonight, because part of the dock on the mainland was damaged in the winter, so I've got to re-screw and bolt that together now before me or someone else tries to use it and steps through an opening about that wide and that long. So you always got to fix stuff when you see it before it gets out of hand. So should be a good day. All the lumber's up for the windows now, or at least for these 6 windows. This is a little different view. Again, those are my windows. Believe me, having screens, even if they're fake, what a difference. The black flies are really into it this year. I don't know why, but so I think you can see all along, and then the foam, and I'll smooth that out even a little bit more. But that made a nice closure from the ceiling to the top of the logs, kind of not giving spiders and bats and stuff like that anywhere to live. This gives you an idea of what it's like before I cut it up. So I fit them in, and then I injected the foam stuff in any opening, letting it swell up. Not only will it hold it better and fill any air gap or bug gap, then I get rid of the foam, and then I put cement on that after it's flush with the plywood. So I think it really makes, and it'll wind up looking like this, just like the joints between my logs. So earlier I showed you what I was going to be doing, and this is actually the concrete going in the corners, and then the tape obviously will be removed. But that'll make a layer of cement on the outside, foam in the middle, cement on the inside, where there were any gaps. So, and then I'll obviously remove the tape, and it'll make for a nice clean line, I hope. My one radio station is gone. That tells me that a big storm is moving in, but I'm gonna keep going. Black flies are horrendous. I've made fake screens for the windows and the door and sprayed bug spray on them, but it's gonna be a bad black fly season. What I was gonna be doing, I've still got to do all that foam has to be cemented. It's all smoothed over, but it's got to be cemented. So I've got to do the whole peak. And to do that, I had to move all the scaffolding that was over here, because I need an extension ladder because it's too high to get to with the blue ladder. I've been waiting for this for a long time. It's a lot of taping around the logs, in between the purloins, all the way across the entire, I don't know what that's flying around, on this side and down here and across the entire gable on that side. I'm gonna start cementing. Big day in the neighborhood. The storm is definitely gonna happen. Temperatures changed outside. Bugs are biting like crazy when I step out. So I got the whole wall on the, I don't know if you can see me. I got the whole wall on the other side done. It's all cemented, taped and cemented. And I'm not leaving until I get this done. I'm hoping that's before dark. That's my goal. The storm is definitely here, but I got all the cement work done. I don't know if you can tell that or not. These are my lights being run by my little generator. So all of the ends where the gables meet the purlines are all cemented in, taped. Tomorrow, if it's dry enough, I'll tape it. All the sideboards are in, cemented and taped. So I did it. I'm very tired, but I did it. And I'm getting out of here. It's already raining. The storm is definitely coming. This is Saturday. It's still in the 40s, and the water's still 40, so it feels like it's September. What I'm doing today is I'm going to peel this back and show what I've done on the whole, both sides of both gables, and the length of the cabin on each side with the new pieces I fit in between the roof and the top wall. So I hope you can see this. All right. You have to take this off while the cement's not completely dry. It's not that easy to do this with artificial light. So I taped off everything. It's probably the artist in me. I'm glad I did, because it makes for a lot nicer look, and I think it makes you pay more attention to what you're doing. So now we have a nice line on the ceiling and around the log, so you can actually see, I hope, how nice that looks versus just slopping it on. And I think by doing that, you spend more time doing it the right way, because you're taping it, you're seeing all the flaws, and you're kind of doing it a little bit more thoroughly, because I don't want to do it twice. I think you can see how that's going to look nice and clean, and keep the critters out and make it easier to keep the cabin spider and bug. Don't give the bugs anywhere to live, you got less bugs. Okay, I hope this ends well. I'm trying to cut a small vent into each end of the cabin, and then I'll just seal it with some mesh for right now, so I can complete the filling the gaps right at the top on each piece by the ridgepole. So we'll have to see how this goes. Okay, I don't like that angle. I don't know what I'm going to do about it, other than maybe I'll screw the ladder to the floor so it can't buck back on me. That's all I can think of. I moved the ladder back a little bit, and I drilled through the ladder boot into the floor and put another screw in front of the other foot on the ladder. So that ladder can't go back now, and I moved it back a little to give me a little more leverage with the saw. It'll make it a little more comfortable if the saw were to buck or kick back. Well, ideally, my battery-operated Sawzall would be good for this. I'm gonna go behind and just see if there's something I'm not thinking of. I know the saw is sharp. You can see that by the size of the sawdust it's creating. I'm gonna take a look outside. I just don't like it. I'm gonna think for a second. I had to stop and build a scaffolding with the old platforms through the other ladder. With the other ladder getting me to the other ladder, I got the chainsaw up there. This might allow me to get a straighter cut and not cause damage to the other logs or to me. And then I've got to move all of this to do the second cut because there's a log in the way of putting the platform where I need it. So let's see how this goes, and we'll take it from there. I hope you can see me. I have no idea. All right, that got one cut. I'm going to try to get off of here and move everything over 1 foot. Nobody said it would be easy. But I gotta get vents in there in each end of the roof before it does warm up, because otherwise it'll just be like a hothouse. So, time to make a new scaffolding. I hope this ends the way I want it to. Tired of inhaling carbon monoxide in here too. Or dioxide, there it is. Exhaust from the chainsaw. Need that vent. Okay, that needs a little more cutting. Whew. And I need to get out of here soon. Those fumes aren't good. that vent open. I think this is the guy to do it. Gotta rethink this. It's a regular log. Should be no screws in there. That's the center where I wanted the window. Can't believe this holds it that well. And again, I can. So, might be a chisel, might be a hand chisel job with a hammer. Going back up, I can't bust that piece out of there. It just tells me that chinking job I did is great, but not right now. I'm hoping there isn't some separate screw holding it in place. But there shouldn't be, because that was in the 18-inch square zone. This should be open. In other words, a window can go in there. Use a knee pad. Oh yeah, this is not going to be easy. No. This is in there. My big chisel is in hiding. I'm going to have to wait till tomorrow and bring my Sawzall. Because I don't think I can bust that out of here without a couple, half an hour just of chiseling. So I'm going to move on to caulking the ends on both sides. I've been heating up the caulk out on my work table because the caulk is so cold it won't come out of the caulk gun. So when I say it's cold here, it's that cold. I got a perfect piece of cardboard out, which is no easy trick in an open boat crossing the lakes. And like I told you before, maybe I work in templates, patterns, drawing. So I'm going to make a perfect rough cut now of the window, which is larger than my fake windows that I gave for placement. And black flies are absolutely going to be insane. And then cut a perfect pattern so I can duplicate that, because all 6 windows are the same size. And give you an idea how cold it was. Yesterday when I had to caulk, I could not make the caulk come out of the caulk gun. I had to take the caulk tubes, find a sunny spot, and let them sit in the sun for 2 hours to be warm enough even to use. So, and it's Father's Day, if that gives you an idea what day it is. I don't really know. I go 14th, 15th, I'm not sure. But I'm getting out of the outside and spraying myself with some bug repellent. I think you'll be able to see this. Yesterday, I wasn't able to get the vent out, the little section of log that I cut. It's held in too tight by the chinking that I used. So I brought back my latest present, a battery operated Sawzall. So hopefully I can control this more and cut through that great stuff and caulk and not have to deal with having a chainsaw in my face at this up high with the smoke from the chainsaw choking me. So I'm hoping this works. Okay, apparently there's a bolt or screw in there somewhere. Huh. Wow. I don't get it. I don't know what I've got in there. Unless it's a piece of rebar. That should cut right through most steel. I might have one of my log screws in there. Might be a harder case steel. But this should go right through any kind of bolt. It's a new blade. Gotta watch it. Okay. That is not gonna budge. So. Got it. I hope. Let's find out. Hey! An air vent! Success! Woo! All right. I'll have to, yeah. It's definitely a bolt. All right, so that's done. I'm gonna staple a little screen over that right now, so the air can move, but the black flies can't use it to come in. All right, success. I never would have worked with the chainsaw. I would have hit that bolt with the chainsaw, and the chainsaw would have gone to pieces, the chain, ruined the chain, and probably scared the crap out of me. So real happy about my birthday present. All right. I got the cut out, thank God. The vent doesn't seem like it's important right now, but in another month, they have two temperatures in Canada. Really freaking cold and really freaking hot. A cut here, and a cut at the other end, will take the heat out of the building. It'll actually help protect the roof too. But I gotta put a screen over it to keep the black flies. I was smart enough to pick up a cheap garage sale electric staple gun, which will make it easier for me to put this in place. And then I don't have to worry about wasps and bugs and flies and mosquitoes coming in through the opening. I can really feel the breeze, and that's what I wanted. With my hands right now, from the chemo, having the staple gun is a real treat. I'm doing a much better job, which means less bugs inside biting you while you're working. I know Gail's gonna appreciate it. Okay, I would say that's pretty good. I'm a happy guy. And just because I can, put a little of that on the fiber, which should last a long time. Spray it onto that cloth, and it'll maybe keep some of the bugs from coming in. I can feel that air now. So when I get one cut on the other end, it's going to be good. All right. Get this. Problem is now, I have to move everything. I have to move everything from this side to that side. So I'll see you on the other side of the cabin. Working good though. This is the second cut. I pre-drilled a hole that I hope will let me start the Sawzall instead of the chainsaw. I don't know if this is actually going to work, but it'll sure be a lot safer than wrestling a chainsaw with a 20-inch bar up on the ladder. And I screwed the ladder to the floor. I've got the mosquito net on my head with the sawdust, and I hope this works. It'll sure be less terrifying than the chainsaw, the ladder, and inhaling the exhaust. Okay. Woo. Okay. Woo. Woo-wee. Well, the logs are in good shape. Okay. Wow. Okay. Those logs are really snug. I'm almost there. Took a little longer, but still a lot safer. And I don't know how I would have done the crosscut with the chainsaw that close to my head. So I'm real happy. A little harder than I thought, but still real happy. This should come out pretty easy. Okay, that was cut, just wanted to make sure. And now, Mr. Hatchet You have to remember, I'm the only guy here, so I have to photograph stuff while I'm doing it. Whoa! Woo! All right, what do you got? Ventilation. Nice. I'm going to, now that I've got a vent on each end, I can seal up where the ridgepole at each end was open a little bit to have some ventilation, not enough, but some. Now, I came up with this, I've got a little gap up there. So what I'm going to do is take these insulation rods, they call them, gorilla tape them into a column, and then where that opening is, pound it in with a hammer, then grate stuff it on both sides, and then cement it on both sides. I think this will give it it'll give it something to bite to, and I think it'll just perform better. If I need one more when I'm up there, I'll simply cut it, I'll bring scissors and some more material, and I'll pound them in on the sides till it's, you know, super tight, nothing can get through it, and then the foam and cement will be on each side of it. So that's my plan, and I think between the cement, the great stuff, the professional foam insulation rods, I might have a good way of helping to fill that little void in a way that it'll last, you know, the lifetime of the cabin, hopefully. There's no reason it won't. This is supposed to be between logs. The Gorilla Tape's simply holding it in position. Again, maybe a little bit more like an art project. I'll bring this up with me. And then when I feel it's snug enough, I'll put a layer on the outside on either end. Then I'll go on the outside and put a nice bug cap on that end. All right, that's the plan. This is a little test, but this can maybe show you what I'm actually doing up there. There's a little gap up there, and that's what I'll be filling in. Sorry, that's probably really strange to look at zoomed in like that. But that'll give you an idea. I needed to test the battery. So I replaced the battery, so I don't think I'm filming and I'm not filming. Back to work. This morning, I'm heading out, and I think you can see the size of this sheet of cardboard. I want to get it out there in one piece, dry and flat. This is what I'm going to use for a template for the actual rough cut opening for the windows. My mind works in templates and drawing. I'm not a builder. I'm not a construction guy in that respect. So this is going to give me a pattern I can imprint on the wall. And since all 6 windows are the same, it'll save me a lot of mental anguish and time just making a template, putting it at the right height, and drawing it onto the wall, and then cutting it. So the goal is to get this out there without it flying out of the boat, and in one piece so I can make the template. All right, you saw me bringing that huge piece of cardboard in the boat in one piece. That's so I could measure out 43 3/4 and 37 3/4. Draw it out, cut it out. This is the template now for all 6 of the windows, including the rough, extra room for the rough opening of the 2x12s to box it in totally. So that was my idea with the cardboard. It's a little easier than trying to hold tape measures on rough logs, and when you're by yourself. I could put that up I can outline it, staple it to the wall and outline it. I think it's going to work out. This is gonna be more of the actual size of the window, what they call a rough cut. It's getting. I'm glad I cut the vents to the top because it's getting a little smoky in here with the chainsaw. So the more windows I get in, I might have to even. Well, I might have to cool it for a while till the wind picks up. But it gets rid of the black flies. All right. All right, I don't know what that guy's problem is. Wow. Like I said, they're hanging in there pretty good. Aha. Okay. And I just missed one of my bolts. See, that bolt should be at 6 feet. On the corner. That's 3. It's 3 inches over. I just missed it with the chainsaw by that much. I don't know if that's even going to fall. There should be a bolt through this whole thing, but it's supposed to be at 6 feet. That's why I moved over from the window. All right. Woo. That'll let in more of a breeze. Woo. Okay. Huh. All right, I can see the other bolt, which is right here. I may have to just sawzall that off. Yeah, it's going to make life a little more difficult. Unless... Can't be in there too much further. What I'm trying to do is actually unscrew this bolt. I might have to get some channel locks or vice grips. I've got vice grips on the bottom of this bolt, and I believe they were in there so tight that they're actually threaded into the wood. So what I'm hoping is I can actually unscrew it from the wall. That way I won't have to cut around it to make this cut. Just can't remember how long. I think I made them 3 feet each, or so they could cover 3 logs each. Phew. I can't keep doing that, so I came up with vice grip. Pull it out. I unthreaded it from there. It's getting to be too much. All right, so now we know the rod, these rods were placed at 6 feet. This was just a little bit off. It's my fault. It came close enough to shine up to one side. I'll have to make sure my chainsaw blade wasn't destroyed by that. This is not easy. The overhead cut lengthwise in the middle of the log, little challenging. Glad I sharpened the chainsaw blade, but I gotta give her a rest. She's overheating and she's never done that. All right, see what I can do with Mr. Hatchet. Almost a window. This part, I was thinking it would be difficult, but I didn't realize how difficult to make the bottom cuts and to make the top cuts. Sides are easy. You know, that's a no-brainer. But to do all of these cuts, again, I put that board, screwed the board down at the mark on the wall, thank God. So when I hear the noise difference from that, I know when to stop. But that was about 30 cuts, and now I gotta knock it out. Let's see just how good those cuts are. Give this guy a rest. He's still a little warm for my liking. All right. Okay, that was a good sound. Okay. That's how it's supposed to go. You've got to cut close enough together. Not bad. Until I've done this a little. That's not bad. I'm happy. I was getting a little tired. I'm not seeing any progress. It makes this part a lot easier. All right. I got a window opening, so I got to do this 6 more times. I'm going to drive the 35 miles to either White River or Wawa in the morning, get a backup Sawzall blade. I got 2, I don't want to get stuck. Real happy about this. I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but it's dead on level, which is tricky because the logs are tip to butt. So it's not like you're dealing with, level machine stuff out of a factory. So it comes in with your eye a little bit more, doing this stuff. So again, like I said, I think the sculptor part of me can see the high points pretty quickly, and then I can get it pretty even. This one should be the hardest one, I hope. I'm not going to take any more off till I get a board on there. See what it looks like. Again, I've never done that before, ever. So I'm kind of happy about how it looks, and I can make that a lot smoother and flatter with some of my other chisels, and then I can put the boards, the 2x12x8s, start boxing it in to make a perfect frame for the windows to slide into. I wanted to go one extra step, so I sealed the logs that are exposed now on both ends and on the bottom, and thinking artistically, when I pound in the other support framing for the window, if there's a problem or a high spot, because it's painted, it'll rub off and show me where to chisel. But the main thing is just one added thing of not letting moisture get a hold and into the logs. Before I forget, last night, you can see the veins on the back of my hand here, and how my hand is humped and swollen. Something bit me last night, and it's so powerful, whatever it is, that I couldn't hold a coffee cup with my left hand this morning. I'm glad it's a bite. I'm already on antibiotics twice a day to fight some other thing with the chemo. So I'm hoping that will counteract this stuff, because I'm a long way from the hospital. And the guys were laughing at me this morning. But I think it hasn't gotten any worse. So, back to fun things. This next step is going to be, it's going to be hard to hold a chainsaw with that hand. The next step, I already told you about sealing that. I guess I have to pick the pretty side. Thinking of Gale, I guess that's the pretty side. All right, so let's get this about where we think it should be. I want it to cover the logs on the outside just barely. And on the inside, I want it to have enough of a lip, so it's actually a windowsill. Like in the old days, you could put a frickin' beer or a coffee cup on it, or an ashtray. Oh yeah. That looks simple because I already tested it. That crap up there. Now, all right. I don't know where my baby sledgehammer went. Thank God I have a decent sized hatchet. All right. You know, I like that. And again, this is all going to get foamed, just like the rest of the cabin, and then it's going to get cemented. All right, so again, let's go for, I think that's the pretty side. This one. Just sitting there on its own. What I'll probably do, all right, that's covering. That looks pretty even. Alright, so I think you're getting the idea. Now one on the top, one on the bottom. These are so big, and this cabin's not really huge. I mean, sure, it's got a lot of logs, but we also have the superstructure I made for this mini superstructure with a support beam and a beam coming off the ground, supported under the ground and up. So this will help keep this where it belongs. In other words, this is two little beams going up. I think that's going to work fine. I can't wait to cut these next two. It's going to look cool. I'm starting on the second window, boxing in the second window. I gotta turn that down. The Raptors obviously won the basketball championship. So, that's a lot of sawdust, but it's good sawdust. I hope I did this a little neater. Bad. There were a couple days I wasn't really sure I was going to get to this. But all right, box number 2. Happy guy. A lot more light, a lot more air. I really like the way the first one came out, so I'm hoping this will be the same. This obviously is taking a little longer than I thought. To try to get it flush with the chisel. I don't want to go too deep. And my chainsaw is a little tired. I'm gonna have to take it apart. She's heating up more than it should. So I'm gonna do some of this by hand. This is day 7 that I'm back. That's the 2 window openings, roughed out with 2 by 12 treated lumber. Wasn't as easy as I thought to cut those shapes out, especially the overhead cuts. I'm happy. I've got my temporary screens on them, otherwise I'd sit in it. So my goal before I leave again is maybe, black flies were just insane today coming over. In between, it was raining on and off and there's no wind, and black flies and mosquitoes are just bizarre. I don't know what I've got in my eyes, maybe bug spray, which doesn't feel good. But my goal is to get 2 of these that match height and position-wise on the west wall. And that would be great if I can rough those out by the time I have to leave at the end of the week, because I got to go back and do another round of chemo and some of my art world life and some obligations, good ones. And then I'm coming back with Gail, and we're going to try to actually put the windows that I've got in place together. That's going to be a big day in the neighborhood. Then there'll be another window here, in other words, on the right and left of the front door as well. So, but for right now, I want to try this other side, and to do that, you have to remember, now I've got to move all of the stuff over there over to this side. So it'll be a while before I turn the generator on, and I'm real happy that this hand is, I don't know if you can see that or not, you can see the veins in this hand. Well, this hand was about a quarter larger yesterday than it is today. Some spider got me and it just swelled up. There was no blue line leading away from it, so I was happy about that. But it hurt so bad, it was actually almost impossible to hold a coffee cup. I don't know if I said that the other day when I was here or not, but the swelling's going down and I'm happy about that. So, time to assemble the tools, mark off the thing with my new template, which again is a big help. You have no idea, someone whose brain works like mine, it's a big help to have, to make a template that I can just position the height, go check these guys, distance from the corner, and then draw it out on the wall, and then start cutting. So, really glad I have this. It just makes things a lot simpler in a situation like this. All right. The batteries went dead while I was trying to record this before. This should be where my finger is, should be the 6-foot mark from the wall where the steel rods I pounded through the logs to give added support to the wall itself, and if we opened up anywhere on the wall. Unfortunately, they haven't been exactly at 6 foot all the time. So I'm recording this and hoping that I don't hit any of them. I just missed the ones on this side. And that's, you're measuring from different logs. Some are wider, so you can, it can vary in that range. The idea was just to let me know 6 feet off each corner, there's a support through the wall. Well, I haven't hit anything yet. I'm a little bit off on my third cut. That weird noise, that cracking noise, is my guide that I'm screwing on there. So if I hear that noise, I know I'm off my mark. And that puts me back on course. So that cut turned out pretty well. And I didn't hit any steel rods. I'm really happy. That's my last new chainsaw blade that I had stashed out here. West wall. Trying to find my gloves and My giant chisel. Apparently, I can't find either one. Interesting. All right, there's the chisel. Okay. All right. Again, I don't know if this is going to end well or not. If there's no steel bar in here, these should break free. Now, there's nothing holding them but my chinking. And I think we figured out that the chinking's pretty good. When it takes a chisel. Whoa! Whoa! Woo! Woo! Should have thought about that a little more. I didn't hit anything, but I just missed my paint cans. My fault. All right, so now all I have to do is cut this out to here and cut the bad boy up there. That's the difficult and extremely painful cut. It's not easy to do. It's all above your head and it's dangerous. But it's better to do it in the first thing in the morning when you feel more like a human being. All right. Okay. Again, we missed the steel rods. Just got to do a quick tape. Make sure I didn't goof up on this part. I need 37.5. I got 38. I got 38. I got 38.25. That's great. Can't measure the other one yet. But now I know I've got enough room for the rough entry. So, back to scary stuff. I'm going to figure out how to cut that top one. Since this is a learn as you go project, unfortunately, my new idea to get that cut on the top, that's incredibly hard to do. You have to hold the chainsaw sideways and go through. You want to cut logs this way. You don't want to cut logs this way. This gives me a start for a smaller saw to get in level, because this I can make level, the littler saw level, and then start that 4-foot sideways cut, hopefully on an even keel. One of many things I've learned is you can't get lazy. Lazy doesn't end well. So you can see the one side of this board is ripped to hell. This is my safety board that tells me when I touch this, I'm off my mark. And after a while, this just got ridiculous, so did the other side. So what I did was I took it outside during the break in the rain and cut it straight again using my my vices on the fake table I've got built outside. So now this will be true to the mark, which is a big deal. You start going off, correcting stuff like this takes a heck of a lot longer than just doing it right the first time. So there's my square, and I'm happy about the mark I made with that other saw. See if I can't start one here. May just go a hair higher. All right. Let's see what that would be like. All right, that gives me enough for the wood. Hey guys, I haven't seen you in a while. These are my log dogs to keep the logs where they were supposed to be when I was building. Okay. Oh yeah. If I don't stray from this mark, I should have a nice clean cut. Okay, let's hope this ends well. Got the cross cut, I got the new ledger board on the top. It's just harder, like I said, to cut across in a saw that's this big. All right, really glad I made the new flush ledger board. Okay, thank God for birthday presents. Now, that might have to be shaped, that last cut. They're never perfect when you're doing that final cut. But I think you guys would agree, this is one of my better cuts for above my head with a 440 chainsaw. I'm happy about that. I don't know why I'm carrying this. I'm gonna have to move all these logs at some point. Okay, now it's the bottom, and then I'll have one more cut out. Had a little setback, ran out of gas during the middle of my cut, but good news is my oiler's still working, because the oil reservoir was empty too. And fun stuff. Busting out my cut, and I get to take that stupid netting off. All right. All right, we might have to make some adjustments, but all right. Okay, that's nice. If there's a tilt at all, we always want it going a little out so that rain doesn't sit on the windowsill. What I'm going to do with my art sculpting tools is I'm going to actually taper that big thick sill so that rain can never sit on the edge of that windowsill. There's one of those knots, they actually come out round, that's a limb. Okay. An old hatchet like this with a flat end and a hatchet, like having a baby sledgehammer. That's where those knots were. And that's where the other one was. That's going to take some serious chiseling on those. This window went well, but sometimes what happens is you get excited, things are going well, and you forget steps you're supposed to do. I did not put in, just a bad example, the little wooden spacers that go between the logs that you've now opened up. So I have to take all this off and put those spacers between the logs. Not happy. But I can't act like I don't know I have to do it. So it's my day, end of my day. So, I just got this all in. And now I have to take it all apart. Again, that's why I like using good quality screws. That won't strip when you're taking stuff apart. And they won't rust because they're triple coated, I hope. All right, so made a mistake, now I'm paying for it. Good news is, this is natural light in here now. I only have three openings. I think when we have the fourth one, That's really going to bring in a lot of light, and we're going to have 6 total. Okay. Obviously, part of me was saying, oh, how big a difference can that make? But the other part of me was saying, I don't know, so I'm not going to take a chance. But this is the left side. So I marked them all. And the good thing is they were so snug and such nice, I thought, nice cuts that, oh, I don't want to get confused, which is the right, which is the left, or bottom and top, because they really fit together well. And now, like I said, what we were talking about is I need to make spacers between these on a solid wood. I don't think they'd sag, but the right thing to do is to put a spacer in there, so that's what we're going to do. Stay tuned. Ooh, okay. Every one of these has a wedge in it and then a shim to even snug it up more. Solid wood between every stinking log, so they can't ever go down. Okay. Yeah, baby. Okay. All right. You're good. There's that one. That's a wrap. So, in my rush, when I forgot to do that, I also forgot to do what I've been talking about, which is I just got done spraying this as another moisture barrier. Again, do you have to do it? But I think I'm not going to sit here and do this whole thing while we're filming, but just the idea of putting 2 coats of paint on the ends of these logs, on the bottom of the sill and the top of the sill, before you put the framing in. Then I'm going to foam it. It's just another step, but it's another step that might make that opening last another 20 years, 30 years, hopefully. 10 minutes versus 30 years. I'm going with do the 10 minutes extra work. Doesn't cost that much more. Okay. Good thing is it was a good set of cuts. Just making sure that is the top, and that would be the outside. Right. Yep. These screws are in the front, the other ones are in the back. This, as I recall, was a lot more difficult to get in. So I like this big, flat-headed hatchet. All back where it belongs. Nice and snug. All right, I think I just erased me opening up window number 4. Sorry about that. So this is number 4. I can tell right now, even though it's cloudy out, it's going to make a big difference light-wise. I'll clean this up tomorrow. Right now I can't trust my arms with that big chainsaw over my head. So I'm going to clean up, get an early start, and make those top and bottom cuts tomorrow. I'm on window number 4, and I hope you can see me. I'm seeing if the camera will work just with the natural light from the 4 windows, which is a big deal to me. Phew. All right. Couple more cuts to go. And then I'll make sure it's square. Swelling went down in my hand, that's really good. I can actually see where my veins would be now in that hand. Again, I talked about this earlier, but woo! Man, the saw's hot. Totally hot. I got about 5 more cuts and then I'm going to give her a break. I know she's got oil because I can see it on the chain. This 440 Echo not only has cut every log for the cabin, for the post, for the purloins, for the ridgepole, for the notching, for the windows. She actually took down every tree that was used and debranched every tree. I think that's quite a statement for a, you know, it's not the high-end saw, it's not the low-end saw, but I'll tell you one thing, it's been a dependable saw, and she's still running. I'm gonna bring her home, clean the plugs, check the air filter. Really happy. So let's see if she can make the last couple of cuts. other thing that you can't tell from watching me at the site is that I didn't pick this spot randomly. This is a peninsula. We're up about 15 feet on either side, and it's only 60 feet either side to the water, maybe 75 feet that way. Then it's a peninsula back to the island. So the breeze that comes across the big lake channels down into the areas alongside the islands, hits this place, and my idea was when the weather's warm, that'll act like an air conditioning for the cabin. All I have to do is put a little fan up there and pull that cold air right into the cabin. And I can tell it's working now even without doing that, because the temperature is really nice in here now. And I'm happy about that, because I told you we have two temperatures in Canada, frickin' hot and frickin' cold. All right, let's hope this is as good as I hope it will be. Yes. Wow. Those are coming out like they came from the store. It's like everything else. About the time you're done, after you're scared to death doing the first window cut, because if you're wrong, you've screwed up the whole wall, and then boxing it in, which you've never done before, but you do it. Then the second one is a little easier. The third one, now by the fourth one, you start to feel like you know what you're doing. And when Gail comes up, we're going to do the front two together. I'm going to finish up some of the cement work today on the eaves, because I put the little new vents in. Now I can seal up by the ridge pole on both ends inside and both ends outside, and then all that cement stuff is done and the face of the cabin will be complete. So that's what I'm up to today, other than making sure that this window is put in the way you should. These are the big knots. When that saw slows down, I know why it's slowing down. It's hitting little branches from the tree, and when you hit those knots, it's not good, it's not fun. These are really coming out nice. Surprisingly nice. I'm happy to see the quality of the wood. Every once in a while you'll see something where a bug ate in, but you won't see anything current, which means because they're high and dry and sealed and they've been deprived of moisture, I can't see any soft spots other than one log that had some, but again, it was all dry. There was no signs of anything. So, real happy. Since I had to delay this thing for my last chemo session 2 years ago, I think. So I couldn't be happier. So all this dark stuff through here, through there, it's all big knots that really are difficult to get rid of. Some of this you could say, oh, use your saw, but you can also abuse tools I don't like doing that is out here, tools are your friends. There's no Ace Hardware. I'm going to need to work on that one for a while, but that was why that was so difficult. Of course, it's always got to be on the last thing you're going to do on a trip. And I tell you, it's beating the hell out of me. But I'm so happy this is window number 4. The amount of light that's coming in, even when it's cloudy, is really nice. So I'm going to be really enjoying framing out this last one. This is the part I missed on some of the other stuff. What these are is there's wooden blocks that I made and then shims that I pounded in with the wooden blocks to keep the logs at the height that they're at, because you're cutting an opening. So there's a wooden block, shim, wooden block, shim. It's something that you better remember to do, or your logs are going to look really bad in a couple of years. Just get rid of the ends. Make sure they're flush so they don't affect the board I'm using. And it's nice, that means they're nice and snug in there. That's what we want. Alright, she's got one. Let's go. Next step is actually cutting some boards for the framing of this piece. Alright, big day in the neighborhood. This is being filmed with no backup lighting. These are the 4 windows. And with those 4 windows, we have enough light in here to film. I do have that little solar light coming on, but I don't think that's really, I think you get the idea. There's our little vent up there. So when Gail comes, I got the lumber already out here. What we're going to do is together, we're going to put the 2 front cuts in. And since I've already done 4, I think I've got the homework figured out for it. I've got the material, these giant planks, and I think we'll have a lot of light in here once we have our 6th window in. What I'm going to do next is go up to the ceiling, clean up that foam, carve it, and cement it, and then do the same thing on the other side. I don't know if you can see that because of the sunlight. I'm going to get rid of that, shave it down and cement it, and that should be all we need to do. Then it's going to be a day and a half of cleanup. This place is just, well, I think you get it. It's seen better days. These are sections of the cutouts from the window. Pretty happy how that chinking held, since it takes a machete to get rid of it. I'm not going to waste these logs. Yeah, that's a little too tough. All right. idea. Like I said, I'm happy about how they're holding together. Yeah. I'm looking out for spiders. I don't know if you saw the size of my left hand last week. Okay. All right. This one is ready to go to my pile where I'm saving all these big, nice sections of wood in case I build something else, like a shed. This is my second trip this year. Wasn't sure if I'd be coming out or not because of the chemo, but I've gotten 2 windows on the west side and 2 windows on the east side roughed out, and the seam up on the top closed in, and the inside of the cabin cemented. And that'll be it for my second trip. I also finished off the top, put a little vent in up there to let air in and out, release the heat. That'll help the roof and it'll make it a lot more comfortable in there. And I cemented both ends of the ridgepole. That's it for now.